When it comes to people with profound brain injuries, Terri Schiavo once said, "Where there's life, there's hope." Hope is the theme of this special two-part episode. You'll meet amazing individuals who've defied insurmountable odds and fought their way back to recovery. And you'll meet family members who are with them every step of the way. Stay with us. In May of 2002, Brendan Flynn of Seneca Falls, New York, had just graduated from high school and was excited about the possibilities awaiting him in college. But his life was drastically changed when he and a close friend were involved in a fatal car crash that left Brendan in a coma and his parents wondering if he'd ever recover.
I was driving down the road. A lady came from my right. She was doing over 60. She had a yield sign, and she ran the sign and hit my car right behind the passenger seat. It split the car in half and threw me and my friend out the back end, 30 feet into a ditch. But the neighbors heard the accident, and they came out to check on us, and I was face down in the ditch, and they rolled me over. If they didn't roll me over, I would have drowned. They flew me to upstate in Syracuse. They flew my friend to Strong, where he later passed away that day.
When you got to the hospital, did the doctors give you any hope for recovery for Brendan? What was the prognosis at that time?
Oh, poor. Very poor. At that moment, they didn't want to tell us that Brendan's friend died because that was the severity of the accident, and they, you know, that was their way of not telling us. They weren't sure how we would make it.
There was a complication with the feeding tube. It came dislodged and
Yes.
put the food into the area surrounding the stomach. Brendan took a turn for the worst. And I understand that the doctor advised you not to do any corrective surgery.
They came in and told me he's not going to make it. He's full. He's barely breathing. He was so full of infection, which is the peritonitis and the septic shock. I get to the hospital in the ambulance because they told me he wasn't going to make it. And I faced all the physicians, all in the ER, and the surgeon looked at it and came in and said, you know, Mary Jo or Mrs. Flynn, why put your son through any more suffering? He's not going to make it through surgery. Then he said, you know, I can put him in a room and we can keep him comfortable, but he'll pass within the next 24 to 48 hours, and it'll be too late to do surgery. And at that point, something inside of me was like, I don't want my son to suffer. And I looked at him and his eyes were open because prior to that he was in the coma, and we were trying to get him to respond, but his eyes were open. I knew it wasn't up to me. So I looked at the surgeon and I said, you know, we're not God. You need to do the surgery, you know, and if he dies during surgery, then that's, but we didn't make it this far. And so right after the surgery, the surgeon came out and he looked at us and he goes, I don't know how he got through, and I don't think he'll get through this night, but here we are.
Brendan's wife, Nicole, had a similar story to share. Having finished high school, she was eager to leave for college with nearly a full scholarship, but her plans were derailed by the brain injury she sustained after being struck by a car.
2 days after my graduation, I was crossing the road, didn't look both ways, and got hit by a car. Went into a coma and was in the coma for a month and a half. I woke up from the coma. Some say I woke up singing, some say I woke up talking, I don't know. Either way, my mouth was going. And then I did brain injury rehab, and I was in rehab when I met my husband, Brendan.
Rehabilitation was key to Brendan and Nicole's recoveries. After spending 3 months in a coma, Brendan woke up but had no memory of the year before his accident. He had no speech and limited motor skills, but Brendan was determined to work hard and gain back his quality of life.
Well, I remember the first challenge, just laying in bed, not being able to move, and seeing the doctors around you, and they would diagnose me like right in front of me. It made me so mad And I just thought in my head, what do I have to do to walk? What do I have to do to talk? It was just a lot of therapy, a lot of work. And it's not easy. It would have been easy to give up, but you don't give up ever. And they got one life, so the fact that someone wanted to take that from me makes me so mad. People have no right to do that.